Guys, you won't believe it, but yesterday I was in the perfume shop and there I smelled a lot of new perfume releases of 2021 for women. So please keep on watching to find out all of my thoughts on them. But I gotta be honest with you, I was waiting till the shops will reopen again so I can smell them, because last month I had pretty bad experience blind buying one fragrance, and in the end that was a smart decision not to blind buy them, but wait and test before invest, which I recommend for everyone. But just in case you're very interested in these, I hope this video is going to be very helpful for you, so make sure to give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel, because 70% of my viewers are not subscribed yet and I don't understand what's that about. So guys, on that note, please like and subscribe, and then let's get started with these brand new releases. Hi and welcome everyone to this video in which I'll be telling you my thoughts on the brand new perfume releases of 2021 for women that, I won't lie, sounded very intriguing to me. And as you know, I'm quite picky with commercial and designer perfumes, and I was not only excited to smell them but realized that now I have a couple of favorites. But without further ado, let's get started with them. And first things first, let me tell you the story how I could actually go to the perfume shop. And that was a surprise for me, because first of all, we are in the lockdown in Germany and all the shops are closed. So the only way to smell perfumes would be ordering samples or just blind buying, which, you know, don't do that. Well, anyway, I am just going crazy and I cannot stay any longer in my house, so I was asking Benny to drive somewhere, and he suggested a big city that is not that close to us. So I was just super glad to go out and explore a new city. And as we got there, all the shops were open and I was like, oh my god, and running from one store to another. And of course I went to the perfume shop, not Douglas, instead that's a drugstore called Müller, and I really like it in Germany. You know, for example, in the village next to me, well, not the village, I live in a village, that's the town. You know, there is a village, town and city. Those are places you can live in Germany and everywhere else in the world. Well, anyway, in the small town next to me, Müller shop is quite small, and there are perfumes but from designer and rather celebrity, so they are pretty cheap. But in the bigger shops there are also luxurious fragrances available. So yesterday I smelled a whole bunch of brand new perfumes. Some of them I wanted to blind buy. So with that being said, you guys, let's get started. And I want to begin with the perfume I smelled first, which is from Escada, and it's a brand new flanker of their limited editions that they release every summer. It is called Summer Festival. So for example, I have this one, Miami Blossom, and let me know if you're familiar with these, which are on the floral and fruity side. And I think if you like these perfumes, you will like the new one. If you don't like them, you know, it's nothing super special. It's also like a fruity floral cocktail. The only note I was excited about in there is ice. So I was just curious, well, is it gonna be like icy or not? And it's not. It's just like a fresh, fruity floral cocktail. Very easygoing, and I think would be nice on a younger girl. I just associate Escada perfumes in general with youth, and if you're a mature woman, there is nothing wrong wearing these. I just think that on a young girl they would be very appropriate. But other than that, I want to move on to a very mature fragrance that I was that close blind buying, and in the end that wouldn't be a bad purchase or anything, because Splendida Patchouli Tentation by Bulgari turned out to be right up my alley. So first of all, if you know me, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I adore patchouli in the perfumes, and this fragrance is all about patchouli, because if you look into the notes, there is patchouli in the top, there's patchouli in the middle, and there's patchouli in the base. And patchouli just adds this luxurious touch to the fragrance and makes it smell expensive. Other than patchouli, there is white peach, orris, and musk, and I think that the main focus is on the patchouli, and those other notes, they just add to this velvety texture. So this patchouli is definitely rather on the chocolatey side. It's not overly sweet, it's not cloying, it smells perfumey and dated, mature, sexy, without those maybe more challenging damp, earthy elements that patchouli can have sometimes. So I definitely recommend it for more mature women who are looking for a very sexy fragrance. It's such an awesome perfume that is definitely on my wish list now, but I'm confused by the color of the bottle because it's white, and I've never ever associated with patchouli white color. When I think about patchouli, I think about dark green, about brown, about black, but they released a jasmine in a black bottle, now patchouli in white. What do you think about that, guys? All right, let's move on to one of the best fragrance releases, not only this year, but it's just one of the best designer fragrances in general, because it smells very modern, it smells great, it smells interesting and not too complicated, and doesn't smell cheap, which I like a lot. And it is from a designer brand that is not as huge as, for example, Dior or Chanel, you know, those massive houses that release pretty boring fragrances. It is from ZARA and Voltaire, and their fragrances are quite interesting. They have fragrances for women and men. This one is unisex and its name is This Is Us. Mainly, I would describe it as woodsy vanilla, and as you know, I love vanilla perfumes very much. If you like vanilla, you will enjoy this fragrance. If you don't like vanilla, you might still want to smell it, because it is not about candy vanilla as we are used to this note. If you are rather into darker scents in general and you're looking for something like that with vanilla, I have already created a whole top list dedicated to dark vanilla scents. This one is not dark, but it is on the woody side, and two main notes that I can smell in there are sandalwood and vanilla. There is also musk and patchouli, but I would say it is a beautiful creamy vanillic scent, and I think there is a lot of ISO super in there. Probably that's why it is so diffusive and modern, and if you like such fragrances as Sunny Side Up by Juliette Hazegan, you will really enjoy it. So if you are looking for a cocooning and cozy fragrance for everyday wear, and I've already mentioned that vanilla has this power of attraction, you really need to smell this fragrance that is long-lasting, that smells amazing, that projects well. I can still smell it so well on the paper, so it's a must have for everyone who is looking for, I would say, a catchy perfume, because it's quite affordable, and it's gonna be soon in my collection. Right, so let's move on to the next perfume I have mixed feelings about, and it is from the Asian brand Shiseido, and it's a pillar fragrance, meaning it's not a flanker. And as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of flankers. For example, there is Chanel No. 5, and then there are many other variations of this scent. Chanel No. 5 Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, intense, light, sensual, whatever. And sometimes you can just get lost in flankers. So I don't like when brands create too many flankers and not enough pillar releases, meaning like original perfumes. And this one called Ginza seems to be like a pillar release, and I had high hopes for it because notes didn't sound too mainstream, too common. There are pretty interesting notes in there, but as I sprayed it on, it was so synthetic in the opening that I was like, ugh, why? But now, second day, the dry down smells nice, but I mean, like, you would have to wait till the second day. Who wants that? Although, if you are a woman who is into luxurious designer perfumes, you don't like celebrity fragrances because they smell cheap, you don't like too hyped niche fragrances because maybe they are too expensive, you like good, high-quality, luxurious perfume that's on the floral side, you might want to check it out. Check it out anyway, maybe that's just my impression of it. I think the way it smells in the opening is a little bit too synthetic. There is pomegranate and pink pepper in there, but in the heart there are many flowers, and the main one that stands out to me is jasmine. And I used to think that I hate jasmine because I was familiar with it through commercial designer fragrances in which I use synthetic jasmine accords that just doesn't smell good on my skin. Maybe they do on you, but to me these synthetic jasmines, they are just so cloying and annoying and dusty. And as I experienced natural and niche fragrances with real jasmine or just more high quality jasmine accords, I realized that they smell awesome. So I'm just a little bit careful with jasmine centered perfumes, and on me this fragrance smells a little bit like too much, which is surprising because normally Asian perfumery is different from Western, which is more intense and like, oh, we all want compliments, or Middle Eastern, for example, which is so dense, like heavy attars. Asian perfumery is about lightness, you know. And now in the dry down, Ginza smells like faded fruits on the transparent florals, and even the notes, I mean, like hinoki, patchouli, pomegranate, orchid. Sounds interesting, good idea. The bottle is beautiful, but the scent is so. Alright, so the next perfume, also in a pretty bottle that I was like, oh, okay, let's smell it. It's called I Want Choo, and it is from Jimmy Choo. Now, as well as Ginza, the bottle is more interesting than the scent. Actually, it's probably my least favorite out of all I'll be sharing with you today, probably because it smells very synthetic, like kind of artificial candy. There's also a lot of jasmine in here, and this jasmine is way more annoying than in Ginza. There's also vanilla with peach that might, you know, remind me of synthetic candy. I don't know what's about the sweetness that is so sickening to me. I had kind of like some expectations for the scent because there is note of red lily, but there is no lily, believe me. So it's kind of like a fragrance for those who like really sweet perfumes. Maybe for younger audience, maybe for people who are not very familiar with very high quality perfumes, because I cannot expect from a niche lover to love this perfume. But if you like designer perfumes, you might want to check it out. Always check out perfumes for yourself, because individual samplings are important, because all what reviewers are telling you, it's okay, it's lovely, but always rely on your perfume taste. Now, finally, I saved two best fragrances for last, and this next fragrance might not seem like something special when you see it in the store because the bottle is very simple, but if you are smelling fragrances one after another like I do, and you smell this, you're like, oh my god, it's so different. And I'm talking about another Pilar release, and I'm so excited that a lot of these are Pilar releases. Great. And it's from another Asian brand, Izi or Ismiyaki. Please educate me about the right pronunciation of this brand's name in the comments, which is called A Drop. And this is a drop of a fresh air that smells very springy. So there's a note of almond milk, and as you know, I love almonds very much. That's why I've already created a whole top list dedicated to the note of almond in the perfumery. Make sure to check it out. I will leave a link to it down below in the description box. But there is also this beautiful floral bouquet in which lilac plays the main role. And as you know, I love it very much because it blooms around my birthday and it just smells like spring. And in here, it's so noticeable and I love it, but it's textural, it's milky, you know. And other than that, there is orange blossom, jasmine, which is not as overpowering and like woo, right in your face as it is in Ginza or I Want Choo. There is damask rose and there is star anise. And let me know what's the last fragrance you remember with this note. There are also solar notes and musk, ambroxan, vanilla and cedarwood. And I can tell you that it smells like sunshine beaming on blooming lilac on a beautiful, warm, fresh spring day. I like the texture, I like the lightness of it. It's like a second skin that would be a perfect fragrance to wear on the everyday basis during spring and summertime. It's not too overwhelming, yet I can still smell it really well on the paper. I find it's a very creative scent. It's something that is my must-have and your must-try. And last but not least, I have Sex Bomb in the red flacon from Carolina Herrera, because this is one of Good Girl's flankers that is called Very Good Girl. And believe me, you are definitely catched by this red flacon. It's so cool. As you know, I love red bottles, and this definitely was like, smell me, test me. As I saw it, I was like, okay. Ooh, wow. Woo, so many fruits. That smelled quite synthetic, I won't like. So I didn't like this aggressive opening that actually reminded me of Angel by Mugler. But as I was wearing it, I thought about another very well-known and super popular niche perfume from Parfums de Marly, because this is pretty much a dupe on Delina. And it has exactly same intense fruity opening and a lot of froziness and a very annoying element that I cannot stand in Delina, and I blamed musk in there for it. In here there is no musk, but still this annoying hot feeling. I can smell it very well, but I can tell you that if you love Delina, you will like this perfume. It smells exactly like it. It's like 99% dupe and it looks very cool. And do you know who's the nose behind this perfume? Quentin Bish. And do you know which other fragrance he created? Delina. There is another perfumer who worked on this perfume who is called Louise Turner, and she created such fragrances as the original Good Girl, but also Tom Ford's Lost Cherry and some other pretty popular perfumes. So if you like those, you might want to check this out. Check it out, particularly if you're looking for more affordable versions than Delina, because if you're desperately looking for something that would smell like it but would be on the budget side, that's it. And it's funny that Carolina Herrera did something like Burberry when they invited Francisco de Jong to create Burberry her line that smells a lot like his hit perfume Baccarat Rouge, but he put a new spin on that fragrance. I would not say that the perfumers really added something to Very Good Girl. It smells very similar to the Delina, and who knows, maybe even I will buy it, but probably not because of its scent, but because of its bottle. Actually, yesterday I was so confused by it because I was wearing Damask from Orman Jane that smells a lot like Delina, and I was thinking about Delina and I figured out that this is what reminded me of it, because now on the paper, even second day dry down, very strong, super power, and I think if you'll be wearing this, people wouldn't even notice that it's not the original perfume. Just saying. Alright guys, that was all from me today. I sincerely hope you found this video helpful, and what I would like to know from you is which of these fragrances I shared with you today interested you the most based on my description. If you've been looking for reviews on these, then let me know how you found this one, and if you enjoyed, I would like to see from you thumbs up. And if you have any questions left, feel free to ask me anything you want in the comments. Your feedback is very appreciated and I would be very glad to chat with you. And if you want more content from me, feel free to follow me on my social media. For example, yesterday I shared lots of stories from my Würzburg trip. So on that note, all the helpful information is going to be down below in the description box, and please make sure to give it thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe, guys, ring that bell in order to get notifications when I post new videos, and make sure to stay tuned and smell good. Let me know which fragrances you want me to review next for you, and we'll see each other really soon. Bye guys!